Hello twin flames, welcome to my channel and welcome to a daily check-in. Let's jump straight into the reading. We will get an oracle message as always, and today it's going to be the Spirit Junkie oracle, and then we'll go into the energies of each of the twin collectives, get an answer to additional question of the journey that we're supposed to know about right now, and that today we'll also get messages between the twins. All right. So the Spirit Junkie deck, just as a reminder for those who are new, hello, by the way, my name's Victoria. This deck is a little different because it gives you affirmations and doesn't have a guidebook, so this is what we get, and obviously we usually get more detail and we dive deeper with the tarot following this, but I find that it's very inspiring and encouraging in terms of using that affirmation exactly, right? Because you can write it down and you can use it for yourself and you can sit with it for a moment and feel through it. What does it mean to you? How does it resonate, right? Maybe you'll find your own meaning that we don't necessarily speak about here. And of course, if you like what I'm doing, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel and leave a comment. Any interaction is helpful, so thank you in advance. All right, and if you're interested in a personal reading, I have that. You can book that through my website. You can order that through my website, mindfulbamboo.com, or you can email me and we'll discuss all the details. I have live sessions and I have recorded sessions for you. So Divine Feminines, your message is: the difficult relationships in my life are the perfect mirror for me to look more closely at my own behavior. Yeah, you know what, this concept, I'm not gonna go too deep into it because I'm still working on getting these videos to be a little shorter, and this, I can talk about this for hours. And I would just say, if this is something that you're interested in but you feel like you don't really have enough information, go to the playlist of my TV show. It's called Mindfully Awake, and look for the topics there. I have any episode that's about relationships is gonna include this information for you. But yeah, it's not even about the blame game, i.e., okay, so I've attracted that difficult relationship towards my energy, right? Because some people, they hear that and that's where they stay, in that vibe and that vibration, which is not helpful. Because remember, guilt and shame have the lowest vibration, energy vibration imaginable. Like, there's nothing lower than that in terms of the spectrum of our emotions. So it's not for us to be in the guilt and shame. It's for us to start looking for clues, to dive deeper into triggers, be brave about them, understand that those are the markers, those are like location pins for us to understand where to go next in our journey, our personal growth journey, our spiritual journey, and what to look at, what to work with. And you may be surprised about like all the different connections and mind mapping kind of style that you can get as a result of that work. I may, now that I'm saying this, I may actually do that for one of my triggers or blocks or anything that I'm working through. And it's not something that you can necessarily create in a single session, because the more clarity is going to come through gradually. So be patient with this process, right? And as like the more you see, the more you can add to the mind map and trace it to the origins, or find relationship between mind, body, soul with that topic, right? See it in your ancestral line. Like, there's so much possibility there. And the more awareness you have, the more power you have over that, and the more tools you have to work with that energy. For masculines, we have taking care of myself is a radical act of love. It's one of my favorite cards. It's a little bit on the nose, and yes, we're supposed to have this as our mantra on a daily basis. But let's be honest, how often we sleep off and we don't necessarily do it, we don't necessarily find time for ourselves, or we don't necessarily approach our activities of the day with this in mind, right? Because you can still exercise the act of radical, you can take care of yourself as a means of radical care, act of love in a conversation with someone, you know, in the decisions that you're making. Somebody is asking you to do something for them. Like, are you considering this when you're agreeing or disagreeing? Things like that. So also like a well of potential there. I'm gonna use the Good Tarot today. I kind of miss this deck. It's really, really nice. And I didn't use it for any of my travels because it's quite heavy. As simple as that. Okay, for the third question, we're doing the feelings and thoughts towards each other. 8 of Water at the bottom of the deck. So there is a bit of a disappointment here of like, have I done enough? Have I cleansed enough? Have I had closure enough? Have I walked away from unnecessary or burdensome things enough in my life? Right? Because you see there's a ship in the distance and it's kind of like going away to me. No, actually it's going to us, but it's still not clear whether it's going to land or not. So it's almost like I'm watching my life from the sidelines, a little bit of that energy. But the momentum of it is going to be not to get stuck in that moment, kind of like process through it, like a jellyfish vibe, you know, you kind of like go through it and you move on. You don't get stuck in it. That's the important part. And I feel like that's one of the reasons this is a Water card or a Cups card in the original Rider-Waite, you know? The Devil, yeah. I think that matches what we just talked about, right? You can approach this process of walking away, of letting go, of shifts and changes, which, by the way, we have so many these days. Today, Pluto moved more permanently in for long term into Aquarius, and it's gonna stay there for good 20 years. That's a big deal. We just had Saturn go direct on Friday, right? We had full moon in Taurus on Friday, right? Like all these different things, and they may seem like, okay, this is something so abstract and so global, and yeah, I'm not even sure what it means for me or if it impacts me, but it does. And like all of these things do, really, right? And a lot of times when these changes happen, even if deep down we know that it's, you know, it was time to end something, even if it ended without you and just without your agreement and just as a Tower moment, somebody ended it for you, the universe ended it for you, right? That's also a possibility. And there may be like that moment where you don't understand, or where you are in guilt and shame or something like that, but that's not the point, really. And you know, if you're going into that aspect, that's the Devil energy, where it becomes toxic for yourself. You're kind of like intoxicating yourself with that. Or it can be more cleansing, and that's where you can keep it in the light. And it's not easy to just like flip the switch and start doing it and seeing everything in that constructive way and how it's for you and express gratitude and all that stuff. But you know, it's worth it. Feminines, your energy is 9 of Water, 9 of Wands. Ooh, look at that, fire and water. Very interesting combination, right? Because it's like the dream is very close, but it feels like there's always just one more thing to do, just one more thing to overcome. It's like you're trying to walk towards that dream. You can see it. You can see that finish line. Let's call it that way, right? Like there's that finish line where it's like dream come true territory. And you can see it and you keep walking to it and you're enthusiastic and you're like, yeah, finally, I've been working towards this for such a long time, right? And then the closer you get, the farther away it becomes. So there are new obstacles and you have to deal with those and they slow you down, right? So try to see that those additional markers or events or the delay as the divine guidance. And because we also have 9 of Wands here, which is about something, some kind of inner fear, right? Like look at that, where sometimes the external circumstances aren't the real problem, but part of you uses those as an, you know, excuse, whatever, as a crutch, as a da-da-da-da-da, fill in the blank. So look at that. For masculines, we have messenger fire, clarified by 6 of Wands. So it's Knight of Wands, 6 of Wands. Yeah, masculines really want to be successful in what they do, in the craft and their project, in the relationship with divine feminine, and ideally they want this to be easy. They want to just kind of, you know, get like appear on the horseback and save the day. That it just happens, and it happens the same day, like as simply as it sounds, you know, like just like I show up and I conquer the obstacles and I slay the dragon and I win my princess, right? Like that's almost like the wishful thinking. There's a little bit too much fire here, that's what I'm gonna say, of like having that passion and drive, and you can interpret it for your own situation what that means, but it can manifest in different levels. It's the energy, right? And there is not enough of that groundedness, of reality check, if you wish, and of that understanding what's good right now or what's not good to happen right now, right? And maybe this manifestation is great as an idea, but it's just not a good time for it to manifest. Additional question for today is 10 of air, clarified by 5 of swords. So air, 5, 10, 5, 10, right? We're seeing how some kind of illusion that we had halfway through, actually, let's say a relationship, let's say some kind of professional goal, right, led you astray. It's almost like, you know, like when you're starting to deviate a little from a, let's say, straight line, right? Then the farther you go, the more there's gonna be the difference, right? The more off you're gonna be. And then by the time you get to the 10, which seems like, oh, okay, well, we are supposed to be here, we're supposed to arrive, we're supposed to get to our goal. And suddenly we realize that it's not been what we wanted. Like the thing that we wanted is like miles and miles away now. And maybe somebody else already grabbed it. And it's like, oof, do I even want to go there? Like, and now there is like lack of hope and lack of enthusiasm. So that's the question, or that's the additional vibe. All right, what's the guidance for the feminines in this case? Wow, 3 of air, clarified by Queen of Pentacles. So it's very much the solitude and healing. That's what I'm getting here, right? It's like, let me be in my, you know, within myself, like the high priestess kind of vibe, right? But it also has Queen of Pentacles here. So to me, that means like, you know, don't just disappear from the external world with this. It's not necessarily going to help you heal faster, right? It's important to still be with the world and still continue doing things that you love and taking care of yourselves, your body, your mind, you know, doing due diligence in terms of your lifestyle, right? But do it in a way that makes you comfortable. This is a Taurus energy, and we just had that full moon in Taurus that was supposed to illuminate to you. Are you creating comfort in your life? Do you actually enjoy living it the way it is? And how can you make it more comfortable and more to your liking in a good way, right? This is something to look at and to work on. For masculines, wow, the Sun and the King of Swords. So for masculines, like that road off was actually the right path. That's the plot twist. That they thought that everything was already planned out, thought out, and that straight line was like, that's exactly what we need, that's exactly what we're gonna do. But there were additional missions on that path that couldn't have been completed if you just kept been walking straight, right? So you needed to take that scenic route, to take a detour, to find new sources of happiness and inspiration, right? And now it doesn't mean that that road was wrong, right? But now with this new information and experience that you have, it's time for you to sit down, you know, take a breather and revisit whether you still want the same things, whether you want to go to that goal. And if you do, go to it, right? And with all this newfound inspiration and motivation, it's going to be a much easier trip than it could have been. So, thoughts from feminines to masculines at this point. 6 of air and 9 of cups. Another 9 of cups. So this is the second one. This is that 9 of water that we already saw. So to me, the feminine is saying to masculines that they're looking for, I'm looking for my place of happiness, of personal happiness, of the space, of the state where I'm excited and I'm happy as I am, without another person, without specific external kind of achievements, right? So this is, both of these cards are cups, right? They're about emotion, right? And there is right now a lot going on for divine feminines in terms of their emotional state. There's like this ocean of emotions that they're going through, and every day something new happens and like takes a different angle and creates a different picture for it. But the point is that the feminine has dreams, and they have the compass to take the ship to that good state, to that stable state. And as much as they don't necessarily appreciate sailing in the windy weather or when there's high surf, they understand that this is opening them up to new possibilities, to new wishes and desires, right? Something that's even more in alignment, where they get to know themselves. You know, they say that like there are lots of different sayings around the concept of getting to know yourself in times of stress, in times of need, you know, in some kind of challenging times, so stressful times. That's when you learn so much about yourself, and actually about people around you for that matter. And that's what the feminine is going through right now. What are the thoughts and feelings of masculine towards the feminine? 3 of water and 10 of wands. It's very interesting, 3 of water, not the usual one. That's why I'm taking a look at it. I get that masculines are trying to please a lot of people around them, and they have an urge to do something similar towards divine feminine, like with the templates that they have that have worked for them in life, right? But something is stopping them from that, and partly it's because they're already tired, they don't really have capacity or enthusiasm, right? And partly it's because something just doesn't feel right there. It's like, okay, like day to day with those people who, you know, are not so deep and not so conscious, who don't know me that well, it works. But do I really want to do the same thing with this person? Like, something's telling them that it's not gonna fly. But what they're asking for, what I'm hearing, that divine masculines are asking to also respect their space and time. Because if divine feminine is keeps reaching out and keeps asking for time together, for connection, for interaction, then it's almost inevitable that they're gonna go into that old template, and they're gonna do people pleasing, and it's not gonna be a great vibe, because as we know, the twin flame dynamic is supposed to be like the most authentic vibe. Otherwise it starts breaking pretty quickly, and masculines intuitively don't want to do that, but they also don't want to have more conflict or stress or pain in regards with to the feminine. So it's a good chance that if they're pushed towards connecting and interacting, then they will go into the familiar patterns of how they make things work with people. Something to think about. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here. I hope this was good for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love you all. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel.